everybody, I'm Steve.
And I'm LG.
And welcome back to
Offsides. And we're back this week, but guess who else is? Tom Brady. Nice to see you again, my friend.
Tommy's back.
It was a little bit of a crazy week for quarterbacks. A lot of injuries. Poor Carson Palmer. Cam Newton's not looking too well.
And we also had Le'Veon Bell back from suspension, who fared very, very well for Pittsburgh last week.
We saw Odell become the true diva that he is, but we're not going to give that any more time. So let's get into week 5.
Grow up, Odell. Our fantasy football musts and busts.
This week I took a look at the quarterback position, and I gotta go with a young one. My must for the week, it's Carson Wentz from Philadelphia. He's been having a stellar start to his career. He's averaging for 256 yards every single game. He's put up 25 fantasy points against teams like Pittsburgh, so imagine what he's gonna do against Detroit. My fantasy bust for the week, Matthew Stafford, you gotta sit it down this week. And you know what? It feels pretty good to bench you after last week you put up only 7 fantasy points against the Chicago Bears, who aren't super great, but aren't super bad.
Love that movie.
So going against the Eagles, who have given up the fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, I think you need to take a seat and think about what you did last week. Sorry, man.
Okay, I looked at wide receivers and decided to go with Steve Smith Sr. from the Baltimore Ravens. He has led the team in receiving yards the past 2 weeks. The Washington Redskins have given up the 5th most fantasy points to wide receivers throughout the year, so I think Smith is a safe bet. My bust of the week comes from the Arizona Cardinals. Mr. Michael Floyd, gotta sit you down, man. Drew Stanton is starting this week in place of the concussed Carson Palmer. And over 8 games last year, Floyd averaged only 6 fantasy points per game with Stanton at the quarterback position. I think him and the other Arizona receivers are going to have a tough week in the absence of Palmer.
It's week 5. More teams are on bye. Even more injuries are happening. We got you covered with our waiver wire pickups.
If you're in need of a tight end, take a look at Cameron Brate from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He might be a good pickup. Also, Hunter Henry from the San Diego Chargers, who will probably be starting again in place of the injured Antonio Gates.
Tough week for quarterbacks. If you have Breeze, Bortles, Wilson, or Alex Smith, they're all on bye. Injuries, Carson Palmer, Cam Newton. I got you covered with your quarterbacks. On the waiver wire, Carson Wentz, my pickup for the week. I also think Brian Hoyer is going to be a good choice this week. And when in doubt, you could always go with our boy Tannehill. I mean, he was looking pretty shaky, but his matchup looks pretty good this week.
Our Suicide
Survivor
Eliminator
Picks of the week. If you're still alive in week number 5 like I am, I'm going Pittsburgh and New England. Those matchups just can't be beat. So who do you think that we think?
That you think.
That I think.
Just play along and submit your picks below, please. San Francisco,
Chicago,
Indy, Baltimore,
New England, Pittsburgh, Philly, Minnesota, Miami, Atlanta, Rams, Oakland, Dallas, Green Bay, Carolina.
As always, we encourage you to play along, so please submit your picks in the comments below, and if you get more right than us, we will indeed shout you out.
This week we have to give a big shout out to our winner with 10 correct. Yours truly, Hair Flip Wink. I know, what can I do, right?
You're so vain.
Hey, sucks to suck, okay? It's time for the best part of the show.
Our Instagram celebrity pick of the week.
Let's see it, Bert. Minnesota. Great choice, Bert. That's going to be a great game.
They host Houston this week.
Yeah, Houston is 3-1. Minnesota remains undefeated.
And their defense is nasty. Watch out for those boys.
Not to mention, Brock Osweiler has already thrown 6 interceptions in just 4 weeks. So I expect some more interceptions to be happening this week alone.
Agreed. And Bradford has done pretty well over the last month learning the offense. And even with an injured AP, they've been holding it together offensively as well.
Great job, Bert. Bert's 3-1. We're hoping for another win.
And that about wraps it up for week 5 of Offsides.
Thank you so much for joining us. We want you to submit your picks and tell us how your fantasy team is doing. Are we helping you or are we hurting you? We hope not.
Constructive criticism is indeed a blessing.
For Offsides, I'm LG.
I'm Steve.
See ya.